back with comedian David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. So I've been thinking about this for a while. I've been thinking about what dynamics are at play when someone gets big, like a comedian gets big and they end up selling a shitload of tickets, like they're huge. And then over time, they get shitter and shitter and shitter. But the amount of tickets they sell either stay the same or continue to go up. It's a phenomenon that happens all the time. Like there's comedians that have been selling out stadiums for like 20 years. And you look at their current shit and it's like, what the fuck is going on? How are they even surviving? I just can't work it out. And then I was sitting at McDonald's the other day while my son did jiu-jitsu. He was doing jiu-jitsu. I snuck off and had a Big Mac and 24 nuggets. Obviously, I bought a few home, a couple, but I did do some damage to the 24. But I was sitting in my car eating the tiny Big Mac that was just thrown together like it was nothing. I was eating my stale fries and I was nibbling away on the tasteless chicken nuggets. And I was like, how is McDonald's still fucking selling so many tickets? What the fuck is this phenomenon where people just continue to go to these things that have dropped off the cliff in quality? I don't know what it is, because if McDonald's tried to open now with the quality of shit they've got and their menu and all that, they would go bankrupt within 3 weeks. No one would go back. I'm serious. Think about this. Think about going to a restaurant that's not called McDonald's, but they serve McDonald's menu and you get all the McDonald's shit. You get a half-filled fries that are barely salted anymore for some reason. You get served by some fucking idiot that fucks your order up 100% of the time. You get a Big Mac that is done in like 3 bites, and you get a watery Coke. Like no one would go back to that place. But McDonald's continues to be the biggest restaurant in the world. An absolute juggernaut of mediocrity. Not even mediocrity, below mediocrity. So it's not the food that people are going back for, just like the comedians. It's the familiarity or something like that. I do struggle with that word, familiarity. Familiarity. It's kind of like people are just unwilling to take a risk. They're like, all right, at least I know I'm going to get shit. It's not going to be good, but it's not going to be horrible either. That's where we're at in society. We're like, all right, I don't even want something that's good now. I just don't want it to be horrible. That's it. But it is actually horrible. Like if you stepped away from McDonald's and looked at it, divorced yourself from your childhood of getting fed McDonald's as like a reward, then it's just trash. Like a lot of these fucking huge comedians, if they started out now with the material they're doing now, they would never sell a fucking ticket. Music's a little bit different. People will always go back and listen to a song. Music transcends sort of time if it's good. Cheeseburgers and Jokes don't. So I don't understand it. Are people like, all right, this is my guy. I'm just going to stick with them for the rest of my life. Come hell or high water, this is my guy. Or girl. There seems to be some sort of like tipping point where you reach a certain point and unless you completely fuck it up, it's hard to go backwards. I'll give you a comedic example if you want me to. Chris Rock. And I'll say this on my podcast, but if I ever get onto Joe Rogan or something and Rogan goes, Chris Rock is probably the funniest comedian of all time, I'd be like, my God, Chris Rock is amazing. But Chris Rock hasn't said a funny thing in 30 years. And he travels the world and sells out fucking stadiums. Just repeating the same shit over and over again. Like a cheeseburger. Like a stale fucking cheeseburger. It makes no sense to me. But fucking... I'm sitting in the car during jiu-jitsu, my son's jiu-jitsu. I'm not watching him develop, evolve. I'm in the car, stuffing my face full of the most mediocre shit you can possibly fucking throw into your face. So I'm part of the problem too. We live in very confusing times. That'll fucking do it for today. The Dejeni Diaries will be out today as well. After this, we have the great Lachlan Watt, long-time supporter of this podcast, host of the heavy metal show The Racket on Triple J in Australia, lead singer of Run, the heavy metal band Run, and fucking brain cancer survivor. So if you want to hear this week's Dejeni Diary, which is another banger, head to my website, boylecomedy.com, join the Patreon, buy me a pint a month. It's much appreciated. That'll do, and I'll see you the fuck later.